you? I'm Sabrina, your host for the Powerful and Passionate Healthcare Professionals podcast. And thank you all for joining us today for another session. And today we have the lovely Carly Penfold with us. Actually, guess what? I think I forgot to record on my own computer. So this again.
Okay.
Well, it's all good. Well, hey everyone, it's Sabrina, your host for the Powerful and Passionate Healthcare Professionals podcast. And today we have another exciting guest with us, Carly Penfold. And she taps into over 12 years experience with acupuncture, Reiki, chakra balancing, singing bowl, tarot cards reading, and teach a holistic healing online program for transformational changes through energy self-care. And Carly hosts and produces a weekly show as well called Holistic Living Show. And I can't wait for her and I to discuss these topics with you on today's show. And then I'm also going to go on her show as well in February. And she is the founder of the Holistic Market and Psychic Fair. She supports the holistic and psychic community over 40 in-person events until it closed due to COVID-19. On the faculty of the Metaphysical School, she has a video series called Acupressure and oils for common ailments and teaches self-care and holistic healing. So I'm so excited for all of us busy healthcare professionals who are just always on the go. And sometimes we don't even know how to stop because things are just keep piling on top of each other because we don't have a personal system at all whatsoever. And we start recognizing the aches and pains, especially we're talking about neck pain today. We're constantly looking down, staring at computers. And for us who do procedure surgeries, we're staring at patients for hours upon hours. Of course, even you notice your posture, you can't even help it, right? We always make excuses. Oh, we got to do this. So I'm so excited for Carly to joining us. So Carly, please tell us a little bit more about yourself, your journey. How did you discover this big round of healing and energy and acupuncture and all this good stuff? And then what draw you to this field?
Hi, Sabrina. Thank you so much first for having me on your show. I'm really super excited about this and being able to share this knowledge and info with people that is going to be able to help them today. As soon as they learn these points, today I'll be sharing the 5 tips for relieving tech neck pain. So I'll be sharing some acupressure points and some routines and combinations that can be done. And for those that want the visual, I do have a guidebook that's accessible through my website, which is carlypenfold.com. But my first introduction to holistic healing happened over 30 years ago, actually, because when I was 14, my mom brought me to an acupuncturist when we were living overseas. We were in Indonesia. And that was to help clear up my acne with my skin. So that was my first introduction to the world of alternative healing. And my experiences since then I've always been gravitating more towards the mystic and the alternative types of options that were out there. I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that I traveled the world at such a young age and was exposed to so many different thoughts and practices and ways that different cultures approached healing. So I actually decided to jump into learning acupressure and shiatsu when I had 2 young kids at the time, and I was looking for something that was I'd be able to do while looking after them as well. And I just naturally was gravitating towards that. And I found somewhere local that was able to I was able to enroll into her program, and she only takes 8 students a year. So it was very intense and small, and was very focused on us learning the ways of healing and traditional Chinese medicine and 5 element theories and I took that knowledge and just put it into practice. Like you said, I've been a holistic practitioner now for over 12 years, and I've helped hundreds and hundreds of my clients. And of course, now I'm not seeing as many people in person, so I've taken my teachings online. And essentially what I'm now teaching is the homework that I used to give my clients, because I would send them home and say, okay, you got to work on these points because you've got to do some self-care. It's not all just going to happen by itself. You have to take some responsibility for yourself and put into practice some of these tips. And then they would do that, and they would come back and they'd be like, yeah, that's really helping me along. And next time they'd come in and see me and get the work done, I'd give them some more homework to do. And that's how I've come to develop all of this. And actually it's working out really well. I'm able to reach more people now with the online courses. So right now I've got a holistic healing program that's running, and it's a live program at the moment, but I will be having a self-paced course ready for that in a couple of months. So that one is it's awesome. Actually, I just had a class today, and one of the students was saying that she's seeing everything more clearly now, and colors are brighter, and she's feeling more aligned and more centered. And this acupressure, acupressure and acupuncture points are the same. It's the same meridians, it's the same point system, it's the same theory behind it. They're just accessed differently. So the acupuncture uses the needles, and the acupressure uses our fingers. Or we can use our hands, or we can use our palms, or just the back of our hands. And I'm excited to share with your viewers and your audience today some quick tips that I can share that will help relieve the neck issues, or if you've got issues. And you know what? This just happened to me yesterday. I was at my computer for like a solid 2 days, and I'm like, I can't believe it. I was getting a kink in my neck. And I'm like, really? Am I like manifesting this on myself because I'm talking about this later this week? Sure enough, like, well, here we go. Put the pressure on the back of my neck, and then within the day it had released, because I was doing it a couple of times throughout the day. And it released, and now my neck is moving freely again. But that's what I love about it. It's this knowledge that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's our own energy system that we're tapping into, and it is effective and it works. And you can do it in the middle of the night if you wake up with a pain, or you can do it like if you're even in the car and you're at a red light, you can activate these points just to get a bit of relief, or if you're sitting at your desk, or even if you're in surgery. Actually, I don't know about that because it's a pretty sterile environment in there. But yeah,
in between our cases, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, right before you go in, you're like loosening that up before we start staring at the patient for hours.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, amazing. And definitely like it's interesting how I had a similar experience. I had really bad allergies growing up, just environmental allergy. I even got those skin testing from a pulmonologist, pretty much allergic to just about everything. And so when I just exhausted all Western medication, then my mom's like, hey, acupuncture actually can help. So I did more research and start to get myself treatment consistently in the spring, and then get some additional treatment in the fall, and I can be off all medication. So it's definitely something, it's working. It's been studied for thousands of years, and now we're start to adapting these things into our own life, and especially acupressure. Think about, we don't even need the needle, right? We don't even need to see the acupuncturist, like get the appointment and put the copay. We're helping ourselves and our family, our loved ones, to help them to feel better, to ease into your body so you can perform higher level.
Absolutely. And the acupressure points that I share with people today and the routines that I'm sharing, feel free to share that around too, because, the more people that know about this and know that this is free, it's medication free, you just need the knowledge and the consistency to actually do it. I'd say the hardest part is actually remembering, to keep activating the points, because as the pain starts to go away, you kind of forget that it's there. And so, so it's the pain that reminds us, and that can remind us to do it. But I encourage my students to do acupressure on the daily basis if they can. If they're dealing with an issue that they're trying to resolve, several times a day, like 3 times a day would be great. And if they're just looking at some overall wellness, 3 times a week is fine as well. So it can literally just be only 3 deep breaths is what I suggest. You find the points and you take 3 deep breaths, you focus in on that energy, you bring that into yourself, allow that to go where the tension is, and just start to relax into it and to feel the release, and then let that go.
That's the crucial part, is we have to be consistent. What you do, one thing is how you do everything. How you heal your body, how you perform at your work is really all the same concept. Just because we have the pain, it triggers our mind. Oh, now I have to do something about it. But preventative medicine actually help us to spend less money, less energy, and you have more time and your better body to do what you love to do, what you want to do, not just fixing all the issues that we have. And definitely, I'm not really good either. Before, I remember I was on the trip in Nashville with some friends. And of course, I still love to work out. I went to the gym in the hotel gym, but the kettlebell I was holding was a little too heavy than what I usually warm up with. So then I completely strained my sacrum, so L5-S1, and that I was on the ground. I can't even move.
Oh,
and
no.
It was so bad. So I was massaging myself, do my breathing. It's like nothing, right? I had to call in a steroid taper pack and just moving. Usually we don't even go to that extreme, right? You just take it and say get physical therapy. Oh no, but that at least helped. But think about my whole trip, right? I could be doing so many things. Now I have a whole day I pretty much ruined. I'm on the ground. And that's the thing. We can think about how can we heal ourselves doing these stretchings, pressure point, to keep your body more relaxed, more flexible, in a better spot. So you're not getting into these accidental, harmful positions and whatnot, and then ruin the trip or the day of your work. So yeah, love it. So let's get going. So Carly, please show us these pressure points. How are we healing ourselves with our neck pain?
Sure. I'd love to share those. And actually, for those who are watching on YouTube, I have a couple slides to share. And if for those watching the podcast, if you want these visuals, just head over to carlypenfold.com. I actually have a masterclass in there. It's 10 sweet spots for better sleep. And there's a guidebook you can request to go with that. And some of these points are included in that masterclass as well. So I'll just go ahead and share my screen here.
Awesome. So all the links will be in our show notes, so you guys can go grab them.
Okay. So the program that I do is called Holistic Healing, and it's transformation through energetic self-care. And this is how I share my the acupressure points. And so the one that we're talking about today is the tech neck relief, and I'll be sharing 5 potent points to ease the pain and tension. And so the neck and shoulders here, I've got this little diagram here of a skeletal system and the muscular system. Because the meridians are energetic, we actually can't see them. I can feel them, we can feel them. But I didn't include those in this chart because you won't be able to see it anyhow. And a lot of it is palpating and feeling for where it is that these are located. So that there's a gallbladder 20 and a bladder 10 point. These are actually on the back of the body. And then I'll show you, I'll demonstrate and explain a neck stretch, neck press that we can do to activate these acupressure points. And then the next ones are on the gallbladder and the large intestine meridians. It's gallbladder 21 and large intestine 14. And I'll demonstrate and share and explain to the best that I can for those on the podcast on how to find those points and activate them. It's a combination point that is used to release the neck and the shoulders. And then the fifth point that I'll be covering is on the large intestine meridian. And it's actually a balancing point for this whole meridian. It's the fourth point, large intestine 4, and it's called meeting of the valleys. And that location's on the outer hand between the thumb and the pointer finger. And this is one that that a lot of people are actually quite familiar with, because it tends to be one that people are kind of just find out about first. It's one of the first acupressure points that people discover. And then, oh, and this one's just a quick testimonial from one of the ladies that took a Facebook series that I did. She says, Vicky says, "Nice, Carly. I watched your series when you did the neck pain. It was game changing. I had woken up with a stiff neck, and your self-care moves were able to soothe wonders without painkiller pills. Yay." So this is the kind of thing that when I get feedback like that, I just want to jump in on it and be like, let's get more people knowing about this. Because when you wake up with a pain, whether it's in the morning or the middle of the night, the last thing you want to do is have to make a phone call and wait for a day or two to get in to see an appointment. So these are the tips that you can actually use right as soon as it crops up, and even good for preventative care. Because I play competitive pickleball, and this past summer, last summer, I blew out my knee when I was wake surfing, and I was using these acupressure points to get me back on the court faster. But also now I'm using those points to be preventative, like to make sure that the injury doesn't come back. So the same thing is true with these points that you're going to learn today, and the stretches that the routines that I'll share as well. So first thing we're going to do is take your hands out in front of you, and you're going to interlace your fingers together. And now, of course, I should advise here that only move as far as your body is able and what you are comfortable with. Do not force yourself. You don't want to make any injuries any worse. So just move within your own limitations. Okay, so you've got fingers laced and crossed in front of you. Now you're going to come up and behind the neck and lower the chin to the chest. Allow the elbows to rest and let gravity do its thing. And then we're going to do a squeeze. So squeezing the palms together. So the part of the palm that's by the base of the thumb, you'll feel that kind of squeezing in. So we're going to do a couple of squeezes here. And as we do the squeezes, I encourage you to take a deep breath in, and then exhale and do a squeeze with the exhale, and then release when you take an inhalation again. And then exhale and do a squeeze, and then inhale again. Exhale and do a quick squeeze. So now that you can release your arms now, allow those to lower, you can readjust your chin to like the level that feels comfortable. And the other option to get to these points too is to take your fingertips and just kind of going to the back of the neck and going up and by the base of the skull, just giving some massage around there. The acupressure points are the size of like a dime to a quarter. So there's lots of room to work with. They're not pinpoint like a needle would be. So there's a lot of room. And if you massage enough of the area, you're going to get the right spot. So you want to go along the base of the neck, a bit along the base of the skull in there. You can even tip your chin upwards and back down a little bit. Kind of make sure that you are at the base of the skull, and you'll be able to feel the ridge there. And then down the neck where the ropey muscles are, giving a nice massage to yourself and in here. So that one activates the first two acupressure points. And the next two are a combination one. So you'll take, say, your right hand up and over to your left shoulder, and you're going to hook your fingertips in just over the crest of your shoulder, and this top part here that connects to your neck, it's about 2 inches or 2 finger widths away from the base of the neck. And it might be a tender spot that's here. And if it is, you're in the right spot. And now with your left hand, you're going to come across to your right shoulder and then come down halfway along the outer part of the upper arm. And there'll be where the muscle kind of converges there'll be it is literally about halfway. There's another spot in there, and it's another tender spot. This one's on the large intestine meridian. So it's about 1.5 hand widths down from the top of your shoulder. So this combination here is good for releasing the neck and shoulders too. And so while holding these points together, we'll do some more deep breathing. So a deep breath in, and then exhaling, releasing, really focusing your attention onto these spots. And a lot of people like to close their eyes to be able to feel how this is. Now, if those are listening on the podcast, don't be doing this while you're driving. Make sure you pull over first, or make sure you're not in the car. And then a deep breath in again. Exhaling, releasing, noticing if you feel any tension or tightness releasing from these areas. And another third breath in, and exhale, release. And then we'll switch to the other side. So taking the left hand to the top of the right shoulder, kind of creating a bit of a hook with the fingertips, feeling in for a tight spot that's at just over the crest of the top of the shoulders there. Your right hand will come to your left shoulder and then down about 1.5 hand widths down to the outer arm, feeling for a bit of a tight spot. You might even feel the V that's there. Okay, my arms are not that muscular, so I don't really have that, but you can see those, you can kind of imagine how that would be where you see that muscle formation there. So it's right at the base of that we're feel for a tight, tender spot there. And then we'll do the 3 deep breaths here again. So deep breath in, and then exhaling, release, letting go. Now the gallbladder points and the large intestine points, these ones are, the gallbladder particularly is about releasing anger and frustration. This can happen a lot if you've got like some stress in your life, and that's contributing to your neck and shoulder tension. And the large intestine is not just about physically letting go, but also releasing, from a traditional Chinese medicine viewpoint, is just releasing and letting go of all that's no longer needed to be carried around with you. Whether that is worries and concerns or fears. Okay, so 3 deep breaths on each side, and then releasing that, kind of shaking your arms out a bit, giving a bit of a release through the shoulders and a bit of a rolling through your shoulders, forwards and back. And then now we've done all this release, and we've released through the neck, we've released through the shoulders, it's come partway down the arms here. And now to finish that off, we don't want to just let it sit there and settle again. We're going to activate the large intestine point, which is on the hand. So when you have your hands out in front of you and you look at them, you look at the tops of your hands and observe where your thumb comes down and then goes to your pointer finger. So between the thumb and the pointer finger, there's a bit of a webbing kind of area in here. So that's where the acupressure point is. Now it's not in the thin part of the skin flap, it's more in the meaty section. So again, these points are about a size of a dime to a quarter. So there's lots of room to work with here. This one is good for relieving any headaches. It's considered a down button. Now, before we go further, there's a precaution with this. Do not use this point if you are pregnant, because we do not want to encourage downward movement until after your due date. What you do with that after that point is up to you.
Yeah, for medical term, these are our snuff box. So for people who are in the podcast audio only, who can't see, so in our little snuff box.
Okay, I learned something new today. And so we'll do this again with 3 deep breaths on each side. And you may actually start to feel a pulsation coming through here. The pulsation will come through if you do a bit of a lighter holding as well. So this one is a large intestine balancing point, and we'll switch to the other hand here now and do 3 deep breaths on the other side too. So the large intestine meridian is about releasing and letting go of all that we no longer need to be carrying around with us. And it's also an excellent point to use for anything else that you want to have come down, whether it's neck and shoulder pain or headache or heartburn or indigestion or constipation even, this is an excellent point to use that is easy to do and right at your fingertips. So those are my 5 points.
That's awesome. And then they're super quick, right? Like
yes, yeah.
Exactly. So you're just stretching your neck down with a 3 deep breath and cross your shoulder, filling the upper trap with one of your hand. The other side is the edge of your deltoid, right, around your arm. And then you switch the other opposite side for 3 additional breaths, and then pressing hard, soft on your snuff box, more breaths on each side. So it's really going to be quick breathing exercise, and then you're loosening everything up.
Yeah.
So definitely these are the tips that we can incorporate in between patients if you have that tough patient or case and then you just want to loosen up and separating your stress from one patient to the next, or even just on your lunch break. I know some of us don't really have a break, right? Even water break is tough, but now you have an intention to reset, to feel better, instead of just hold your muscles super tight and get this anxiety and pain trapped in your body.
That's exactly right, Sabrina. It's so important to put the intention and the breathing together with these points for it to get the most out of and get the most effectiveness from them and the most results from them.
Yes, amazing. And I know there's so much we can talk about, and this is definitely something I encourage everyone, re-listen, re-watch, and go to Carly's website, do the masterclass so you can really learn these quick things to heal yourself. Now, I know we're all experts in some ways, but it's hard for us to be experts in everything. So I do ask our speakers to take 3 minutes, find your number one killer in how you're now able to create your own harmony in life and work, and look into our 10 key components of our life. So Carly did this, and I will let her share her thoughts with you. What anything surprising to you when you took the assessment, or anything you want to change?
Yeah, definitely for me, the career achievement has been a big one because of recent current world events. I actually lost over 80% of my business last year. So it's been, we all talk about the pivot, but it's easier said than done, and it's really taken me back to what is it that I enjoy? What is it that I love to do? What am I passionate about? What's my genius zone? And what am I good at, right? What can benefit others? So for myself, switching from, organizing and hosting live in-person events with over 50 vendors and over 500 people attending every month for the last 5 years, and then having a massage practice as well, I've really had to shift both of those. So going back to my roots and my teaching, and I know that I used to do that in person several years ago before I started the holistic market. And that's what really got me going back into teaching again and bringing this knowledge forth, and doing so in a way that's easily accessible for people to access the courses and go at their own pace, but still have support too. I do have private Facebook group that goes along with people taking my courses too.
Yeah, that's amazing. As all of us who are healthcare professional who has your own business, this is a major time of pivot, because we were forced to shut down for some of us, and then other people got forced furloughed or have to leave their organization despite they were in leadership positions. It's tough for everyone. However, the key thing is regroup, reflect. This moment that you can ask yourself, we have to understand your own genius zone and passion zone and combine them. Then we can perform at the high level. Sometimes when we think so much out of our head, it's difficult to figure out what are the zones that combine both. Because if it's just something you love to do, but you're not really good at, guess what? It's going to create frustration. And if it's just things you're good at, but you're not passionate about, they're just distractions. They're not going to get you where you need to go in life that matches your future value. So it's really crucial to understand that middle zone, and everything else need to be eliminated, automated, or delegate, right? And how do you do that? Those are the key things. I'm happy to discuss more privately for those people who really want to tap into their. You can go to sabrinarunbeck.com/blueprint to jump on a non-pressure call to see if I can be adding any value or not to you. And definitely for today, I so love it graciously for Carly to share her knowledge, her genius, her passion in this healing way, and her vulnerability to show us like who she is, right? We're a human after all, and it's okay. We can't be mastering everything, but even we just acknowledge these things that we can tap into, these awesome things where for Carly, her mission in life, her family love relationship, those are the bounds that she can elevate, can truly bring her energy, her power, versus some other area she knows she might not have to tap into, but now she can think about ways to elevate them, right? Like, so it's no longer in the shadow, no longer in the subconscious mind, but we are actually doing something about it. So thanks everyone for listening in. Go check out Carly's website. We have going to be in our show now, and do this exercise. Your body means more for you. Why live in pain and stress? Why not just do these quick things and heal yourself? And preventive medicine can save you so much more money than when things happen, right? And we so appreciate you spending the time with us. And we love it if you leave a comment, review on iTunes. We would love to share additional knowledge for you. And Carly, anything you wanted to share before we wrap up?
Oh, I just hope that everyone out there is doing well, staying safe, and finding support when you need it, and reaching out for help as well if you need it. And doing things like listening to Sabrina's show here, you're just on the right path because you know that you've got a team behind you supporting you all the way.
Exactly. So appreciate your time, and appreciate everyone that you actually allow yourself to have some time to you, right? And you allow yourself to be open to rejuvenate. So I fully support you. I'm proud of you for